On this episode of Beyond the Feet, we're taking our first run in the Saucony Freedom 3. Did an easy tempo run in this, 10Ks at 440 pace, easing the training into this shoe. It's kind of like a more plush version of the Kinvara, so if you have been loving the Kinvara 10 or 11, this is just kind of the daddy to it, just nice and plush, runs very nicely underfoot, a lot more energized than that Kinvara. Kind of hard to run slow on this shoe, I found in the 10Ks. I was trying to do those kind of 5-minute Ks, just with the Power Run Plus running underneath the foot, makes for that quite plush but also energized shoe. I kind of thought there was a marketing kind of gimmick, this kind of plush but still being energized with the Power Run Plus, but it actually does work quite well. So this is running on that 4mm drop. It isn't actually much cushioning underneath the whole shoe, but actually does feel like there is quite a bit. But with that 4mm drop, just felt like I was able to tick the legs over quite quickly, and it was quite lightweight. Pretty sure this comes in at around that 240 grams, so it's only about 20 grams heavier than the Kinvara, but does feel a lot plusher. And with the Freedom, is about $50 dearer than the Kinvara. It does have a lot more outsole, so you're going to get a ton more Ks out of this compared to the Kinvara. First time I've actually ran in the Freedom series. This upper actually feels great, nice and breathable around that toe box area. They have added a heel counter into this, so that actually does lock the heel in quite well, and quite a slim fit over the whole shoe, so it's not deep at all anywhere of this shoe. Slightly bit wider in that toe box area, only fractionally compared to the other Sauconys out at the moment. Fits true to size, take a 12 in this and a standard width, and have so in all the other Sauconys at the moment. Not as much cushioning around the heel or kind of over the whole shoe compared to the Triumph. Just a nice lightweight, quite high cushioning. Well, it's not high stack height, but the cushioning that is there is very good, very decent. So with the Freedom 3, you could easily use this from 5Ks all the way up to a marathon shoe. It does have enough cushioning underneath the whole foot to use for that marathon, especially with the Power Run Plus. It's not going to kind of deteriorate over that longer distance, just going to keep that energized snap back over the whole run. If you don't want to really run in a carbon shoe, this will actually work quite well. Plus the outsole it's using, very durable outsole. It's going to be very hard to wear through these, kind of like your Freedom and your Hurricane as well as your Liberty. These do stack up to quite a few Ks. So initial likes in these shoes, midsole, it's definitely one of them. With how kind of minimalist it is, running with that 4mm drop, actually feels like there's actually quite a bit more cushioning and plushness underneath the whole foot than I expected. I really thought I could actually feel the ground in this, but when it actually came to running in this, it is, yeah, very plush. You're not really feeling anything underneath the feet apart from just a nice cushioning system. Nothing I can really say more about that Power Run Plus. It's going to last a long time compared to some other cushioning systems on the market. And just the overall fit, Saucony really have dialed in the fit this series. Their whole kind of shoe range, the uppers a lot more slimmer, a lot less going on as well, and it's just fitting my foot quite nicely. It's not too broad at the toe box, they do taper in nicely around the toes as well. The gusseted tongue on most of their shoes, so you're not kind of getting out of that slippage on that tongue. And just the heel count, a bit more of a V-shaped heel on most of their shoes recently. Good amount of cushioning on this, but just, yeah, not too much that it's too sloppy on the feet once it starts to wear in. And kind of initial dislikes, I don't really have any when it comes to this shoe. Might have a few down the track, but this is that, yeah, kind of minimalist, neutral shoe that should have a ton of Ks in the actual shoe itself. We'll have another review down the track, seeing if anything kind of shows up. But yeah, first initial likes were just the shoe I expected, and just a bit more. I didn't really think I'd have that much cushioning underneath the foot compared to what I actually did. All in all, first run into that 10Ks at 440 pace actually felt very well. It was kind of just weird to have that much kind of plushness as well as the responsiveness in a shoe this weight. So we'll just run through the updates that the Freedom ISO 2 has made to the Freedom 3. So starting off with the outsole, only slight bit of changes. I'm not sure if they've actually changed the landing spot as well as the medial side and just kind of the areas here to their carbon rubber. Slightly different to that crystallized rubber running everywhere else in the shoe. I'm not sure why they've put this carbon rubber on that medial side. It should be, most of the wear should be on that lateral side since it is a neutral shoe. Might be just adding a slight bit of touch of stability to the shoe. Pretty sure they've added that XT900 to that landing zone, plus just the kind of outer side of that forefoot. The old one, ISO 2, did use a whole crystallized rubber. But yeah, very similar outsoles. Not a whole lot has changed there. Moving on to your midsole, so they did use that Everrun, and they just have changed that to that Power Run Plus. Still that TPU bead with the Everrun was slightly bit more of a firmer cushioning system to that Power Run Plus. Slightly bit more plusher of a feel, and it is kind of a similar responsiveness, but you're just going to sink into that bit more and you're just going to get a lot more energy return out of that Power Run Plus, and it is quite a bit lighter for that midsole. So the midsole itself is 25% lighter. Slightly bit more flexible, all that other stuff. Pretty sure the top soles have changed as well. So that Freedom ISO 2 was running with that Everrun top sole. So they had the midsole and the top sole of Everrun. Pretty sure this has gone to the Power Run Plus top sole. Some people have said it's still Everrun, but it does look quite a bit different. It's slightly bit softer than the Everrun that was used in the Freedom ISO 2. And with the midsoles as well, the Freedom 3 is actually a heavier shoe. Reason being, like, they did take 25% of the weight out of the Power Run Plus, but they have increased the stack height. So this was running with the stack height and the 4mm drop, so the stack height was 22 to 18. With your Freedom 3 is running with that 27.5 to the 23.5. So still running with that 4mm offset, but you do have more cushioning, so it is 25% lighter. The shoes themselves do weigh the same. Your Freedom 3 comes in 7 grams heavier, so you got your 232 grams in your ISO 2, and with your Freedom 3 it is running with that 239 grams. So yes, it's heavier, you got more cushioning underneath the foot though. There is kind of that bit more plushness. It's a lot better cushioning system than the Power Run Plus than the Everrun was, so they just dialed it in a lot better. Moving on to the uppers, so what a lot of the Saucony range has done is just ditch the ISO, so that's what they've done from the ISO 2 to the Freedom 3. So we've got rid of that ISO fit. Upper kind of fits the same. The ISO 2 probably did fit a bit short, whereas your Freedom 3 has fit a bit more true to size. So only slightly extended that toe box. The midfoot fits very similar, so they still work with that gusseted tongue. They just have changed the lacing system. So just going back to that eyelet chain system instead of using that ISO fit. It fits quite similar. They have actually updated this to an internal heel counter, so it's still quite a flexible heel counter, but with your ISO 2 not having one, just kind of had this kind of plastic heel cage that basically didn't do a whole lot. It was very flexible both ways, and with the, it was pretty useless as far as the heel counter goes. So with both the Freedom shoes, or with the Freedom range itself, they are quite a flexible shoe. So if you do have quite a flexible foot and you want something a bit more stable, don't wear this. Probably even chuck an inner sole in it. I'm quite a flexible foot myself, and I just need to run with this in the inner sole, and actually makes it work quite well. But this isn't a stable shoe at all. It's very flexible. It's just about Power Run Plus the whole way through, so it is a very flexible midsole, and there really isn't any stability system in this shoe, apart from that slight bit of a heel counter. It's what it should do. Very durable outsole. This shoe should get about that 1000 Ks. The cushioning system as well as outsole underneath the foot is actually very good for the shoe itself. So as far as the updates go, Saucony are definitely going in the right direction. Wasn't really a whole lot wrong with the Freedom ISO 2. The upper was quite nice. They were using that single layered knit. This fly, he's taking the piss. They still are running with that knit, or the single layered mesh. Slightly a bit less breathable than that knit, but it is still quite breathable as it is. Only slight updates. Crystallized rubber, very similar. Power Run Plus, so a bit more stack height, a lot plusher underneath the foot, and the upper's just slightly dialed in a bit better. But yeah, wasn't really a whole lot wrong with the upper on that ISO 2, and they just have added that heel counter in, which I think just holds the heel in a lot better than that ISO 2, offers that slight touch of stability. If you want us to compare this to any other shoe, we'll probably compare it to the Triumph as well as the Kinvara and Ride in the coming video. But yeah, if you want us to compare it to any other kind of daily trainers, that minimalist cushion shoe, let us know in the comments. Subscribe, like, all that jargon, and we'll see you in another video. That was better.
Much better.
Yeah. Don't have to edit it as much.
Yeah. I used to have to cut out. I think you said they weigh the same, and then you're like, but it's 7 grams.
It's the same really. What's 7 grams?